I'm CM Coleman. Welcome to my home. Today, we are going to talk about temporary fixes. These are things that you want to look good for the time being, but you know that you are going to redo them. Now, a couple of these, well, a couple, two, the shelves in my closet, in my pantry, there's nothing wrong with them. The wire shelves that are in there is nothing functionally wrong with them. However, I would like them to look nicer. Eventually, I really do want to get nice wooden shelves that I can have put in there, and I want to have a light in there. But right now, I want something that it makes it a little easier, that I can wipe off easier, that things don't fall in between the wires from the wire shelves. So I got these really cool things. Well, let voiceover me explain what it is that I'm doing.
So the first thing to do with any project like this is to empty out the shelves. And my pantry, it is not about organizing the pantry, it's about getting the shelves empty. So that's what I did. I removed the stuff from the shelves, one shelf at a time. Then we could start looking at the actual pantry covers, because the actual pantry covers will make it a lot better, because the shelves that we have on there are just wire shelves, plain ordinary boring wire shelves. We want something that looks a little bit better. So what could possibly look a little bit better? These are aluminum shelf covers. They just go over top of your plain ordinary wire shelves, and they come with a protective film, which you do have to peel off, and that was sort of a fight. But I knew the size of my closet. Now, my closet shelves, or my pantry shelves, are actually 15 inches deep, where these shelf covers are only 12 inches deep. But that was okay because, it's a pantry. You're never going to see what's behind there because it will be covered over with stuff. So then we get that in there and we are all ready to go, and then put everything back on the shelves. Then this was just a matter of rinse and repeat. The upper shelf, which is the second shelf I have there, it needed to be all the stuff removed from it, and then we would put the new shelf covers on there. Now, the covers do come in a set of 5. I only did 2 of mine because I let my mom have the other 3 to do her shelves, and it works out really well because realistically, the upper part of mine doesn't have much going up on there. There's just a few various things, and I mainly was concerned about showing off how well they looked on the lower part of the shelves, and I think they look absolutely fantastic. And the best part about this is you can wipe these things clean, as in once it gets dirty, you just simply wipe it off. There's nothing falling through the shelves, which is really nice, especially when you have little packages of things or crumbs of stuff. They stay there, they look really nice, and I totally enjoy these, knowing full well that eventually I will replace my shelves, or the wire shelves, with actual wooden shelves, but I want to do that at a later time. And I want to make sure that the shelves that I replace them with are really strong and really nice and also easy to clean. But right now I didn't want to deal with that, so I got these done and I'm very happy.
So that is my pantry, all completely done. I like it. I like it a lot. Is it perfect? No, because the shelves themselves, the shelf covers are only 12 inches where the shelves themselves are 15 inches. So there is that space in the back, but I'm okay with that. And yes, I am planning on redoing that and getting more shelves, making it better. But for the time being, this was absolutely fine. So yeah, it worked. Now let's talk about my office. In my office, I had put up some acoustical board. They're 2 different kinds, and I never liked it. I never liked it at all. What had happened was there originally were shelves up in the office, and I took those shelves down and I never patched it because the whole thing needs to be redone. What I want to do is take the drywall out completely and put in some sort of like shiplap or something there. But until I can get the money to do that, or if I come up with a really better idea, because even slat wall would be really nice, because then I could have some shelves with using the slats. But until I can do that, I went at something temporary. Now, the dumb thing that I did was the sound acoustic boards were put up there with adhesive. So yeah, it's ripping off the drywall. But it's okay because, like I said, we are going to replace it. Hopefully we'll replace it sometime soon. But some things are just meant to be temporary. And the cool part about this is these are just curtain panels. They give a nice texture to the wall. They're not perfect. I don't expect them to be perfect, but I want it to look nice as I get it done. So let's get into doing the office walls now.
So first thing is to make sure I get everything out of the way, which was just sliding out the desk, which was not that big of a problem. But then the next thing to think about was, how do the curtain panels go up? They do have a hook and loop tape section at the top, or a Velcro section that you connect that to, but I did not have Velcro at the top of my little alcove for my desk. So what does one do? Well, I did have some Velcro that's actually used for binding wires together or binding cords together. So I used that and just stapled that up there. Used a staple gun to staple that up at the top of the alcove, so that way I knew that my curtain panels would have something to hold on to. But I also knew that there was going to be a problem. I also knew that there was going to be a problem because the curtain panels themselves are not easy to fold, and I'm going to have some corners to go around. But before I even got that far, I knew that I had to get those panels up there, and you can see where the other panels had ripped off part of the drywall. All of that needs to be replaced, and I know that it needs to be replaced. But like I said, this needed to be just a temporary solution, something which would look nice for the moment. I could do a video call backing there. It would face forward. When I face it, the light shines off of it and makes the room look a little bit brighter, so it looks really nice, and I like that. Then once the panels started going up, it really was fairly easy to get the panels to attach to the Velcro itself. Now, to get the Velcro to hang correctly, to get the panels to hang correctly, that was a completely different subject, because they didn't want to. They did not want to hang correctly. I think they're supposed to slightly overlap, but I didn't take the time to overlap them, and I was trying to do this in the most efficient and quick way. So the only way that I could think of doing this was to just butt them up together as close as I possibly could, and then let gravity take effect there. So what I did is I did just exactly that. I put up the panel, let it fall down, let gravity take effect, and just hold the panel down. You'll notice that you really don't see through the panels that much, which I vastly appreciate it. But they do go up there. They are very, very secure. But I also knew I still had another big problem coming, and my next big problem was going to be those corners. How could I possibly do the corners so that they would still, knowing the fact that these panels do not butt up against each other very well, how would I do that? Well, the staple gun and some ingenuity would come in handy. And it wasn't very hard to do, it just took a little fussiness and that sort of thing. So what did I do to do it? Well, you're about to see. Were not as hard as I thought that they would be. All it took was just a little bending of the panels, and then to put them up against the ceiling and get those corners semi good. I mean, they're not great, don't get me wrong, but that's where the staple gun came in handy. The staple gun, I was then able to just put a few staples in, and it would actually hold the panels into place without any major problems, without any major headaches, and it did. They are firmly up there. They look pretty nice, and it makes me very happy to see them work out like that.
That wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible to do. It was not the worst task. Also wasn't the greatest task either. So what's up there is I have Velcro at the top, which I explained, and then they just stick there so that way I can take them off. The small holes that I will get from using the staple gun, I am absolutely fine with, because like I said, I want to replace that probably with shiplap or some sort of, realistically, like I said, I would love, 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 love to have slat wall, but that's going to cost a lot. So yeah, we'll see what I come up with. And for the time being, this is a temporary solution. If you are in someplace that's just a rental, you might find that temporary solutions give you a high-end look with just a temporary kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have some ideas on what I could put up there, that would be great. Because I've even thought about wallpaper, but it needs to be something that is white, because when I'm talking on the computer or doing a conference call, the light bounces off that back wall and helps light me up. So yeah.
At this time, I'd like to thank these wonderful people who are part of the Patreon family and part of the channel members. They're the ones who really help keep this channel going. We have discussions. They also get to see these videos early. They get a weekly behind-the-scenes vlog, and then we just talk about various things which is going on in my life and their lives and everything. If you'd like to become part of the channel members or part of the Patreon family and support this channel, that would be wonderful. You can click the links that are provided.
But yeah, let me know what you thought about that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needed to be done. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.